I have 3 drinks with me today. I have my black tea, I have still water, and I have sparkling water in a wine glass because I love doing that. It kind of replaces champagne for me if I can drink sparkling, icy cold water from a wine glass. So in today's video, I am coming back after a little bit of a hiatus, I guess, again. I don't know when I uploaded my last video actually, but I feel like it was maybe 2 months ago or so. I'm Anya Esma, and I want to speak to you today about what makes me feel something. And what I mean by something is any word that fits my idea of connection. So let me define that, because some people might say things that make them feel witchy, or there are certain things that make them feel aligned, or certain things that make them feel connected or empowered. And all of these words, I feel, are a little bit interchangeable for me. So I didn't know what to actually name this video because I couldn't decide which of these words best captures what I'm going to speak about. Inspired I was by, can you even construct an English sentence like this? Inspired I was by Kelly-Ann Maddox and her video about 13 things that made her feel witchy or made her feel powerful. And I basically took that and decided I want to talk about that too, except in the terms of what makes me feel, you know, something connected, aligned, like I'm doing the right thing, like I'm in tune with myself, like I am attuned to myself and the environment. And I feel like there are so many words to that witchy can sum it up for me, but there's also more aspects to it. And sometimes I have a little bit of a resistance to just calling things witchy for my own definition purposes, I suppose. I'm just weird. It doesn't matter. The point is they make me feel good, in tune with myself and all that stuff. At the end of this video, I also want to talk about why I rarely speak about spell work in my YouTube videos or on Instagram, and don't do the whole like tutorials or spell results sorts of posts or spells I did, stuff like that. I want to talk about that at the end of the video, so stick around. But before that, we will talk about what makes me feel aligned. I'm just going to use the word aligned. So the first thing that makes me feel aligned or witchy or empowered or powerful in general is honestly making YouTube videos, which is a creative act for me, kind of like writing, but it kind of all belongs together, because if I make a YouTube video, I write stuff beforehand. So for yourself, you could think about, is there a creative thing that makes you feel especially witchy? Because for me, the process of making a YouTube video has so many elements of witchiness because I have to prepare it. Sometimes I write journaling prompts for you guys, which makes me feel witchy if I'm sitting there with my laptop and writing something, or I'm putting on makeup, or I'm putting on specific clothes that I want to wear in the video. So all of these things kind of add up in sum to a witchy experience, and then talking and projecting to the camera and then editing it and watching myself, I don't know, all of it makes me feel good and witchy and productive in a way. There have been times when it wasn't like that and it felt more like a chore or a drag, but then I generally just stopped doing it rather than forcing myself to do it. So in terms of your witchy experience or experience with alignment, you could think about what is a creative thing that makes you feel like you're doing the right thing. Like in this moment, as I'm sitting here speaking to the camera, I feel like I'm very much doing the right thing, you know? Not like when you're chilling on the couch, staring at your phone, and not feeling like you're doing much of anything. So yeah, this is the first thing that makes me feel empowered or rich or powerful or witchy or whatever you want to call it, magical, all the good things. The second thing that makes me feel powerful, witchy, magical is when I take a second to be mindful of the moment, especially when I'm outside or also when I'm inside, and I take in how cool it is that I am in this moment, in the sense that I give myself some perspective. I don't just think like, oh, I have to do this, this, and this, mundane tasks, or oh, today I'm going to eat this, or I feel like doing that. Not that. Like a moment of mindfulness where I kind of stop my resting face and just look around and look at people or look at nature or look at buildings or wherever I am, and turn off my music, because I often listen to music outside, and just look around and kind of hear what's going on. Unless it's a really busy street, then most of the time I don't feel like doing that. But I think sometimes, when you are in a more calm area, having music on all the time, it kind of deprives you of a certain presence. Getting that back, turning music off, listening to things around me, using my five senses essentially, which is like the mindfulness thing to do, really helps me feel empowered, or feel like, oh, I'm in the right moment, I'm in the right place right now, I'm in the right mind, in the right body, to sort of, even out my experience of the world, so to speak, by just using my five senses and reducing myself to that. And yeah, taking a moment of mindfulness. And there's a lot of power in that, I feel like, and a lot of magic to feel like you're in the right place and to feel that alignment. Then again, sometimes you might feel like, man, I'm totally in the wrong place. I should be somewhere else. I should be doing something else. And then at least you're not aligned with what feels right for you, and then you can act on that as well. But sometimes when we numb out, when we look at our phones, or when we listen to music, or just go from A to B as quickly as possible and focus on the path and everything, then sometimes we don't even notice when we're not aligned. So I feel like that is a good exercise to sort of make you feel that more. The third thing that makes me feel aligned and like I'm in the right moment presently is when I know that I have the freedom that I can do what I want. And what I mean by this is, most of the time that I'm alone, if I'm with people, I often sort of forget the things that I have to do, or forget the things that I want to do, because I enjoy other people's presence. I am present in the moment with them. I talk to them. I listen to them. But I'm not one of those people who someone is talking to me and in my mind I'm already going through what I'm going to do later, or I'm going through my to-dos. If I'm with people, I'm like fully focused on them a lot of the time, for better or for worse. And that is why being alone is pretty much the most important time, where I feel like I have complete freedom to do what I want. You also don't have to explain your moods to anyone. If you're not in a good mood, nobody is going to come and ask you, It's just freedom, basically. It's freedom to feel what you want to feel. It's freedom to do what you want to do. And that means a lot to me, because around people, I sometimes swallow my ability to even think about what I want to do, or what would be good for me, or what I want to do with my day, with my week, with my life, all of these things. Like planning my week would be a very difficult thing if there's someone around me, or let me know if it's the same for you, because I think, yes, a fly just flew through the camera. I think there are people who really do this, who sit across from someone in a cafe and literally think about what they have to do that week. And I'm 0% that person. So if you are, let me know how you do that, and if you feel like it's a good thing or more of a bad thing. For me, I think something in between would be best. Like you sort of have your own wants and needs on your mind, but you're also listening to the other person, and don't replace their talking with your thinking or something. Anyways, let me know what you think about that. So yes, what I'm meaning to say is, when I'm alone, I feel aligned. When I have that freedom to do whatever I want and take the time to do what I want, and not be on my phone then, but instead do something productive, do something that makes me feel aligned, like filming YouTube videos. Now, number 4 of the things that make me feel aligned or witchy or powerful or magical is a very obvious one. It is makeup, it is jewelry, it is nail polish, it is clothing. And this is one that Kelly-Ann had as well. In general, a lot of the things that Kelly-Ann Maddox said in her video, definitely overlap with me. Like many, 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 many things that she said overlapped, but this is one of the big ones. Also like a sense of exploration, going around a new city, going around a new town and exploring it. So anyways, I'm not going to mention those because she already mentioned them and I don't want to just repeat everything. So I had to repeat this one because it's such an important one for me though. The whole glamour of it, just that feeling of bringing yourself to a different level or bringing yourself into a different energy by putting on makeup. And you know, there are days where I really don't want to wear makeup and I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh, that's cute. And then there's days when I wear makeup and I'm like, wow, that's cool, you know? There are days for both of that. And there are days I want to wear lipstick and days I don't want to wear lipstick, like today. For a good year of my life, there was never a day where I didn't feel like wearing lipstick, but now I really don't feel like it much anymore. So it just happens. It happens and we have to accept that and see what makes us feel aligned, because I don't want to just say every single day I put on makeup to make myself feel aligned, because sometimes I feel aligned without it and other things make me feel connected or present. Now, the fifth thing that makes me feel connected and powerful, especially when it comes to ritual and spell work, is, let me look up what you would call that in English, because there's a very nice German word for it, but I don't know if there is a good English one. Okay, self-aggrandisement. Self-aggrandisement, that is not a nice word. In German, we call it Selbstüberhöhung. And it's basically when you put yourself on a pedestal, when you act like you are the absolute best, you are powerful, you are wondrous, you are magical, you are everything. This is something I'm very cautious of because I think there is immense value in humility, especially in nowadays times where everyone seems like they have to say something about something that they don't know anything about. But when it comes to ritual or when it comes to spell work, this is definitely something that helps me. And I have to allow myself those moments of self-aggrandisement in order to feel aligned sometimes. But if I did this all the time, you know, if I walked around with that mindset all the time, I would basically be a megalomaniac, or anyone would be who does that. And I don't think that's cool. But what often tunes me into it, by the way, is rap. Because, you know, there are so many endless rap songs about speaking about how great you are and that everyone else is dirt and stuff like that. And some people would say that's not a good energy to have and everything, but man, it can be fun. You know, it can be fun. It's not so much about the other people. It's mostly about like pumping up yourself and giving yourself that value and giving yourself that honor and that attention and that spotlight. And that feels good sometimes. And that's fine, but it is definitely something that I'm keeping in check. I've talked about this in a different video at some point where I talked about how it annoys me when on Instagram there are whole accounts just dedicated to this, basically, like self-aggrandisement, making you feel like you're the strongest warrior bitch ever and you can do anything and nobody deserves to be close to you because you're the best. And I'm like, wow, that's a little bit diluted. So I'm trying to be not diluted, but just use this in nice doses in order to make myself feel powerful. And then it's fine, because at my core, I am a humble person and I have a lot of humility for what I have, who I'm with, all of these things. And I think that is important to keep while also being able to have these moments of grandeur, basically, and kind of summoning the pathos, or is it pathos? Today, my non-native speaker English is failing me a little bit. So yeah, to summon the pathos that it takes in order to cast spells. Now let's get to the fun fact, the bonus fact about why I don't mention spell work much and why I didn't mention spell work in this video or ritual. Because honestly, a lot of the time, spell work or ritual neither makes me feel aligned or super powerful, nor does it require me to in order to be effective. Yes, it requires a certain level of mindfulness from myself. Let me know how you feel about this, because it requires mindfulness of me and, you know, presence and focus. But I don't feel like I have to have this witchy, powerful, empowered, magical mindset that I am a powerful witch and all of this to cast a good spell. At the end of the day, I feel like they still come true in a way without me doing that. And I've talked about this as well before. My spells work best if I just forget them. This is also why I don't speak about them much, because I don't have this attitude of I'm the most powerful witch and I did this spell and it worked, and this one and this one and this one. If you asked me what spells I did, most of the time I wouldn't remember, because it's often very spur of the moment. It's not something that I plan a lot, and it's something that honestly is just very functional for me. And it doesn't even require me to be witchy. Now, I'm not trying to say like, oh, it's so easy for me. I can just cast a spell and it comes true. I don't even have to, you know, put in any work. I just do it quickly without even feeling aligned and done. I don't want to say that. But the feeling that I have about it, of like forgetting it and not really caring that much about it, that is sort of where I'm at. And that's why I don't talk about it super often. Yeah, so that's that. Follow me on Instagram if you want to. I also post a lot there, and probably some journaling prompts to come. I'm going to record more tarot videos, and also probably one video about procrastination. So subscribe if you feel like it, and dwell in my domain. Explore my videos, and I'm very happy that you're here. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what makes you feel aligned. I will also link Kelly-Ann's video down below and some other videos of mine relating to witchcraft, so you can check those out. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. See you soon.